Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I am continuing to play with the new Phenology journal. Phenology? I don't know if it's Phenology or Phenology. I'll look it up. Anyway, and so I've got some things ready to go. Let me show you what I've done so far. Just looking at individual panels. Right now I've got this panel that's got a hole cut out of it, and I've got a tuck pocket here. I'll come back later and probably put a little cluster or something on that, but it's just a top corner tuck. And then I have the panel that'll go behind it where you can see the tree, and I've trimmed this inside of this circle with this fiber that I have. It's a sari silk wrapped with threads to create kind of this rope. It's really pretty. Nice color, and it's a nice neutral color, and I think it looks pretty good with this journal. It's not really a journal. Anyway, flippy thing. Then here's the other side of that. And then I've got the first two. And then here's the other one. And this just has a ring around it. This is solid. I'll probably put another cluster and do some more work to this panel too. And then I've got two of my tabs on, and I've done just a little bit of fun stitching on the tabs. And then again, that trim. And so the back side of this one panel is done. So I was able to put these two panels together. I still have to do the back side to this panel. And then I've got two other panels here. This one is done. And this is just part of the kit with a metal dragonfly here. And then you flip this up, and this is a bird T-card. And it's a little warpy. I just need to play with flattening that out a little bit. There you go. And then when you flip that up, there's a pocket here. So again, I may do more, cluster work or something to this. I don't know yet. Then this one is another tuck, and it's just a side tuck here. Then I've got a little rusted washer there, circle piece, and let's see. And then that's it. So this one goes here. And so what I have to do now is I have to create the panel that's behind this hole. So I've got this one done, right? But then this one also, and then this will hinge here. So it'll be like that. And you'll be able to see this. So that's where I am. Let me make sure that's right side up. And so what I've got so far is just another piece of the kit. You can tell that there was a circle there. And this is going to come here. And then I'm going to put another corner tuck here, and that'll kind of cover that up a little bit. So I've got my pieces cut. And I think I'm going to put some of this on the corner tuck down here just for fun. And then maybe, again, put a little cluster of some sort on that later. And then this wheel is going to go here, and I'm going to make this one spin. So when you can see it from back here, just depending on, that's got something on it. Just depending on how you've got the circle in here, you'll see different parts. And that's a really good one to spin because it looks, pretty much, well, the bird looks a little weird upside down, but you know what I mean. So that's the plan. Then I have another one ready to go that I think I could put, no, I'm actually going to create, so I'm going to start a new panel, and this one has another piece cut. And this is going to be pretty simple. On this panel, I've got this pocket. This is from the kit. I've got it cut and folded. None of this is inked yet. And I'm going to put that pocket right there. And then we'll have a pocket here. So that's the plan, and I don't know where that one will attach. These, have to attach in specific places because of this cut circle here. So these were kind of all critical pieces to that. So let's get started on this one. Before I glue this down, I've got it inked, but before I glue it down, I need to get this spinner on here because it'll be, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this on here, kind of where I want it. See if I can clip that on. That's pretty close. I'm going to clip this, and then I'm going to line this one up. And I'm going to draw a circle so I can see, and the piece that's going to go in here is bigger, right? But I do want to get it lined up. So what I want to do, I want to reinforce this. This is on a nice cardstock, but I do want it to be a little bit stronger. First thing I'm going to do is cut a circle, and I just need to decide which color green I want to use. I've got this ready to go, so that's this green. Do I want them to be the same color, or do I want, let's go a slightly different color. Let's go with this one. And I want a circle that is bigger than this. So I'm going to go about right there. I think that's bigger. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tape my paper down just so it doesn't jump on me. And let's get this kind of over here to the edge. We can go further over. There we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Hopefully this circle isn't too big. I've learned with this circle cutter, this one in particular, it's easier for me if I spin the board sometimes than it is if I try to spin the wheel itself. Not perfect, not bad. Actually, you know what I think I'll do on this one? Let's see, how much bigger is this than the... Nice. I think I'm going to rough the edges up on this one, and that'll kind of hide that little bump I've got there. So let's see. Where is my sanding disc? This was a test piece here. It's the nice thing about the Tim Holtz paper that I love is that it's got the craft color core, and so when you sand it, you get that craft coming through. And then when you ink on top of it, it just gives it a nice worn look. And I'm going to have this piece on top, so I don't have to go all the way to the center. Nice. Now, where's that little nick? It's right there. So, there we go. Got it. Okay. All right, now I'm going to glue. Now I've got a little poke hole here. where my center is. I'm just going to go ahead and finish poking that a little further. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. And I'll try to get it as centered as possible. Just eyeballing it. That'll be pretty. Okay. Let me ink this first. And then I need to find, I guess I'll just use a brad. Oh yeah, I like that. Coming off the edge and into the center a little bit with that brown. So this will be kind of a green brown, right? That's the idea anyway. It should look good with that page. Got an old worn look to it. This will go on there, and that'll be my wheel. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's put this away before I lose it. Oh. Okay, I'm going to glue this on. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue the whole thing on. I don't want a double spinner. I just want this whole circle to spin. Oops. So I'm just going to make this a solid glue on here. And try to get it centered before it dries. Not too bad. Not too bad. Nope, that's too low. And it's dry. That's not on there right. Let's try that again. It's not going to come off. Nope, it's not. Okay. Okay, now I can, oh, you know what? I need to sand that a little bit more. Hold on. Had some rough edges here. There we go. Let me re-ink that. Nice. Okay. Not too bad. Not perfectly centered, but not too bad. Okay, let me get my pokey tool, if I can find it. Pokey tool. And I'm going to go ahead and poke this now all the way through using the hole that's already there. Okay, I've got two brads here. One is a vintage brass brad and one is a Tim Holtz brad. And I don't know which one I'm gonna like better. I just bent that all to heck. Okay. Probably that one. I think this one might be too big. I think we'll go with this one. Okay. Now I get to figure out where the center-ish is. Let me leave this here. Let me leave that there. Just for a moment. I drew a circle, but I want to eyeball the center. It doesn't have to be perfect, but okay, now what I can do is take this, the mark I just made. Where is it? Ah, it's there. I'll poke all the way through. This gets fatter as you go along. There we go. Okay. I don't think that's too bad. Let's do some measuring. Now that I've already got the hole poked, let me measure it. So the circle part is about, it's about 2 1/16. That would be 1 yep, that's, hey, not bad. Okay, what about this way? Oop. It's further over one way. It's further over this way, but that's okay. All right, let me make sure I got my top and my top. I'm going to glue these two pieces together. This will not be seen, so it doesn't matter what, what side's up, color-wise. This is just to put a spacer between the base sheet and the spinner, just so that they, it just spins more freely. And that just happens to be my smallest punch. Now I need another punch that's a little bit bigger than this. I can open this up. I'm not putting any glue or anything like that on this part right here. So to prevent me from gluing, it's got to be able to spin. So it's a full circle. So what I'm going to do is glue just the outer edge of this disc here. Just the outer edge here. And what that'll do is create a pocket here for it to spin in. And that way I'll be able to put full glue on the background piece, theoretically. And then it won't be so vulnerable to, let's see, that's about my center. So I want that to be about center. Pardon my head just for a moment. Okay, let's flatten that way. And this piece is raised up a little bit because I've got that disc in it. So this piece spins around. Here we go. It's a little wobbly. Now what I can do, I can glue all of this down, all of it down on my panel. Make sure I got the right side up. And after I glue it, it will spin. Okay. So we have a little spin going on just for fun. And I did not get it centered, but that's okay. Good enough, right? You won't even notice. All right, let's get this glued on. Did I ink? Yep, I inked it already. Top, top, top. And we're going to go ahead, actually, before I glue that down, we're going to test this real quick just to make sure that it works, and it does. And it's almost, it looks like it's almost centered. Okay. Let's glue this down. Now this is raised. And the whole thing you know what, I'm going to give that a little smack. Let's open this back up. I'm going to give that a little smack with the hammer just so it's nice and sturdy. There we go. Nice and sturdy. Okay. Love it. And it goes all the way around. All right, I'm going to line that up kind of the way it probably should be. Now this gets attached to this board over here. So it'll open like this or like this. Yeah, fun. Okay. So I can go ahead and put this tab on too. Now let me show you. Let's see how I've been putting my tabs on. I've got this, where is it? This tea. This is from a bookbinder's kit, you know, with tools in it from Johnny at the Junk Journal shop. And so I'm using that. This is a little hard because there's so much dimension on that side, but that's okay, it'll work. So I'm using that spacer as the space between the tabs, and so they'll all be the same. And so let's find a tab. So I'm going a 1/2 inch. I'm going a 1/2 inch from the edge of the book. And then this is about 1/4 inch, and then I'm going a 1/2 inch on the other side. So that means I want my whole strip to be 1.5 inches. So, roughly. So I'm going to snip this at 1.5 inches. Snip the edge, rip it. I need 2 of them. Now on this one I did some sewing. I don't know that I will on this one. I think I'll leave them be. Get those to dry. That's fine. Okay, so this will go like this and this. There we go. So if you're here, you're going to see that. And if you're here, you're going to see that. Okay, both of these panels, these 4 panels are completely done, except for me going back in and doing perhaps some, you know, some clusters or some things like that. And so I am going to put strips here and here on the other side. So that's going to be tricky. Let me find a nice piece of strip. Oh, look at this nice mess. I don't want that great big M. These are fatter over here. I want it to be those are a little fatter. Where's the thinner part of the strip? Oh, look, here's this piece that's sewn that I thought this would be fun to use for a strip. All right, let's do that. Let me get my ruler and get this at about 1.5 inches long. And this one I'm just going to try to cut all the way across because tearing that would be crazy, and then I'll fray it a little bit. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's put some glue on this side. There's probably an easier way. You know, you're watching this, you're like, you know, there's an easier way to do that. Yep, probably. Probably. I want to line these up as best I can from side to side. Like that. Got some glue on there. Oops, there's a needle stuck to my eraser. My desk is such a mess, it's not even funny. Well, there we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do, this time I'm going to put glue all the way on the whole thing because I want the two clusters, no, not clusters, the two tabs to stick together. That's going to make them that much stronger. Okay, like that. And that's got that sewing on it, so that's cute. Oops, let's see, that goes that way. Yeah, yay. So far, so good. And my height, I'm doing good. I'm doing great on height. I've got plenty of height. Okay. So that's there. So now I need to put one here, and I'm going to have to be careful. I don't want to get, you know, in the way of my spinny wheel. So I kind of want one of the skinnier pieces. If I can find one. Oh, here's the one that's got the, that might be good. That might be good. It kind of goes with that. Okay, let's do about 1.5 inches of this one. I don't know why I have to pull my ruler out. I have a grid on my table. I always forget about that. Where's my scissors? It's probably easier doing this. And this one I can rip. Okay. Okay. Let me glue that on. I'm going to tie this in a little knot because it is not tied off. This little piece that's hanging, and I might shrink it down just a little. Take it down just a little bit in size. There we go. That's better. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this whole thing at one time. Line that up and center it. Get up underneath there. Come over here a little further. And that should just about do it. Let's see, we'll push those two together. Push these two together. And now, those tabs, so we've got one whole panel, two panels, connected on both sides. So when I'm done, all of these will be connected on both sides. And that just gives it that extra stability. So this one is completely done. And then this one, when I get further along on this panel, I'll connect these. Okay, does that make sense? So that needs to go through there. That comes over here. There we go, and we'll put that through there. So this goes like, so far, this is what I have. We have this panel and these panels, and you can see the spinner through here, but you can't spin it, but you can see it. And then we have this panel where you can see the tree through there, and you can spin this. And it wants to curl up, but we'll get it flattened out. Okay. So zig, zag. The next panel is going to go here. Here is where it will connect. And it'll be facing that one. So I think this is perfect to face that one. Or, let's see, that's my back. I'm actually working my way forward. That's the back. Yeah. We'll put this one here. Okay. And this is going to get tricky too, because I didn't leave too much space, but when I put the tab on, I'll just make sure, so that tab might not be, it might not be as big of a tab as the others. But here's what the side's looking like. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to look at this one. And what I want to do here, this is simple. I need to decide if I want this pocket here. Oh, I was going to, hold on. Where'd the spinner guy go? I was going to do more. I was going to put this here. If I put a tuck here, is that going to be in the way of the spinner? It might be a little bit. But is that okay? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that before I do the next panel. Let's go ahead and do this. So basically here, I'm going to corner round. Whoops. No, before I do that, I'm going to figure out how big I want this. And this piece too, I can come back in later and add a little bit of a cluster, a little embellishment. Actually, you know what I want to do before I want to sew this one on. I tell you what, this walnut stain is the perfect color for Tracie's kit for the inking the edges. I'll bet she created it like that on purpose. I want to sew. I'm going to go sew this piece by itself. I will be right back. Okay, just a little sewing on here, just for fun, just to add a little bit of more texture to it. And I'm gonna glue that on, but before I do, I also think I would like to put a little bit of, yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna put that about right there. No, I'm gonna put it right there, like it's clipped onto that. Let's put another one here, about right there, for fun. And one more here. And those are from different companies, so they look different, which is kind of fun. Are they all three different? Yeah, I think so. Okay, let me glue this on. Now this can go here. And just glue down the side, and it becomes a tuck. And I might, same with this one, I might come in here and do a little more to it later. Don't know yet. I'll decide that later. I'm going to give those a little pop with the hammer. Just to make sure they're on there. There we go. All right. And now we've just got a little tuck spot here that we can use just for fun. And it's open all the way up at the top, so you could tuck something in and let it hang out. Although it won't fit in the box if it's hanging out. That's why I've been kind of careful not to get too far, not to get anything off the edge like this. Normally I probably would have left this wheel as being hanging off the edge a little bit, but I don't want to run the risk of it not fitting in the box. Okay. Now, that just has a little something going on. That might be cute with a couple buttons on it, maybe. I'll come back and make some decisions later. Same up here. This, I think, needs like a little cluster, but I'll come back once I get the basics of these pages done. Okay, now this one, top, yes. Top, yes. This one I cut the background paper to where this will cover it. Yeah, nice. That should work out nicely. And then that'll just be a page. But on this one, I think what I want to do is add a little bit of texture kind of over here off to the side or up here in the corner with some texture paste. All right, let's see what that looks like. Oh, I like it. A little bit of texture there. Let me get this wiped off. Now the big question is, do I want to kind of go, let's see, I got to be careful. I really don't want them to extend. There we go. Yeah. Maybe a little bit over here and maybe just a tiny bit there. Okay. And then a little tiny bit down here. Like that. All right. Now let's get our ink. I'm going to ink the edges, but I'm also going to kind of come across the top a little bit, just a tiny bit. This is my white acrylic ink. I'm not going to need much. So I'm just going to do a little eyedropper in here. Just drop a couple drops. That's plenty. Do I need to, might need to water that down just a little bit if I'm not on camera. This is just white acrylic ink in here. And I just mixed a little bit of water with it. And now I'm going to splatter. I want a bigger splatter than that. There we go. Just some splatters for fun. And then that'll go with the dots up at the top. There we go. Okay, I'm going to dry that. I do have a lot left to do on this. I still have to decide what I want to do on the cover of the journal part, and I still have the, of course, the outside of the box and the inside of the box to do. So this is not, I feel like I'm making really good progress, but it's nowhere near done. And of course, I still have to get woven textures done, which is a gorgeous journal. So I'm kind of excited about that too. So I do want to get that one done. Oops, that's not quite straight. That looks good. Good enough. Okay. I'm going to roll over that. I have a roller here somewhere. Just so I can get back here behind this pocket. There we go. And it won't hurt to roll over the sari silk. Flatten that out a little too. Okay. I'm not going to do a whole lot more to that pocket or that panel. It's got a nice lot of space in there. So this might be a pocket where a mixed media tag gets tucked in. So I have a little bit more depth there. I think that'll be awesome. And I don't know where this is going to go either. Let's see. This is the back. It'll flip here. I think it's going to go here. Like that. So let's take a quick peek at our height. Because remember, I have a standard, I have a max. Okay. Oh, I'm doing good. I mean, that's not even an inch yet, and I have an 1.5 inches. So, how many panels have I used? 1, 2, 3, 4. I wanted to use at least 6 panels. 8 would be better. We'll just have to wait and see. And I have, of course, a lot of work on the panels that I have used. I still have a lot of work that needs to be done. So let's see, this will flip here. These will connect here. So I will let that, yeah, that's pretty. That'll be the spread. That's the spread. That's the spread. And that's the spread. No. And there'll be something else here. This is over here. I gotta get that straight. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. This connects here. I probably could go ahead and do that, but I do want to sew on some of these. So I've got the one here that's got the sewing on it, but I also want to be careful Yeah, see, this may be a shorter tab than what it has been on some of the other ones, just because of this. Now I can come in further here. That won't be a problem, but I'm gonna have to, oh, that's really pretty, right? And then that's a tuck spot there. And I got to get some bugs on here. I promised that this would have at least a few bugs. So that's where I am. I did the splatters there, and then I did the splatters there. I like that. I really like the white acrylic ink for splatters. They're a nice vivid white. Even if you add a little bit of water to them. So I can still put a little cluster up here maybe, or even down, well, probably not down here. I got to be careful again of the circle, but yeah, we're making progress. This is really, this is fun. I love this, where this is headed. So thanks for joining me. A couple more panels done, ready to go. I think I did videotape